Hey, what's good, man? This is Emcee T, and I had a lot of emails and messages about getting factors from the Bay. Not even like OGs, but like factors that really made a difference in the Bay rap game. And I had about, I think, 6 or 7 people ask about Be Legit the Savage. What do you know? Be Legit, what's up, baby? Let's do a little history rundown and talk about how you guys got in the game. I'm talking about the clique. I have a few questions about the beginning too, but why don't you just kind of break it down real fast?
Well, the clique was made up of the family, me, E-40, D-Shot, and Sugar. My uncle St. Charles had a record label, and he had put out a gospel record. So we wanted to put out a record. This is like in 1988. We wanted to put out a record. So we would ride by the studio in Vallejo called Field Star Studio. That's when MC Hammer used to record it. We were like, man, we need to get in there and try to make a record. So we went in there and we hollered at James Early. And he was like, I work with y'all. So we came up with, a few songs that we did. We took about 4 songs and made a maxi LP back then. We got it pressed up, man, and went and put our stuff like in stores on consignment. And, from there we was off and running.
Grambling State University, man. Okay. I did a little research. We're going back. I mean, I had a little verse that I had to say. The top of the line and way too cool. I got a PhD in acting a fool. You feel me?
The GIT, better known as legit, and funky fresh rhymes. I will spit the top of the line and way too cool. I got a PhD in acting a fool.
I had to dig that up. Talk about Grambling State University and what that meant to you, and also how did you get out there and how did you make it back?
Well, I'm 18 years old, graduated from high school, and I'm feeling like, I need to better my life some type of way. I didn't just want to sit around. The block was active, and we was active with the block, but I was like, okay, I don't want to be another statistic in this, so let's keep it moving. I had just put in an application for Grambling State University, which happened, they get back at me and they say, it's all good. Now, mind you, before that, we was DJing, doing parties.
Like spinning records? Spinning records,
man. We was spinning records, man. Me, E-40, and D-Shot, we was spinning records. And, we would rap over, like, friends' instrumentals and stuff like that. So we was just now getting off into it. We made our own little name around the neighborhood or whatever. But we head off to Grambling, man. And when I get to Grambling State University, we run into one of my partners called Waldo Bensworth. He's the other dude that's on the alma mater rap. We decided to come up with a rap about the school. You know what I'm saying? About the alma mater. And man, this is a trip though, because when we was making the record, we did it on my boy JJ Boombox. He from Marin City. He was from the Bay too. Can't live without my radio type of joint, right? And he had a double cassette, so he put one of them. He played "Knowledge Me" on one of them, and we rapped the other one. So it wasn't no wait, rewind it, bring it back. This is all straight through, one take. Yeah, so we did the whole song, one take. We entered the spring talent show, performed the song. The school went bananas. Yeah. And we became stars overnight just on campus.
Grambling University, Grambling University.
And
the ladies obviously took.
Ladies, fellas, fraternity, everybody, they pulled us in. They took us. We went and performed at the Bayou Classic in Louisiana, way back then, '87. Man, and when we came home for the summertime, we was like, man, we got to get busy. When we came back, then that's when we picked up D-Shot and Sugar and we went to the studio.
I don't think a lot of people know, or maybe a lot of people do, they're in the industry, but you and E-40 are cousins. That's real big. Can you just talk about how that relationship has been throughout the years? I mean, I know it's tough, but at the same time, it's blood. You know what I mean? Or can you talk on that?
Always been about the family, and our grandfather being a reverend preacher, in the family taught us, one thing for certain, 2 things for sure is to always have each other back no matter whatever we do. So we learned that, and that's something that stayed with us. Like, if you got the bread, I got the meat, let's come together and make a sandwich. We've been doing that type of thing since knee high. So it's like it never really made a difference. It's just we always been, tight knit. We had good times, we had bad times, but we remain solid together.
I read you guys' interview with, I believe, Murder Dog, one of them, and I think it was Suga-T that said outsiders breaking up the family or something like that.
Where she was probably coming from, when you are a family as youngsters, me and your cousins, we hang out. When I drive my car, I come pick you up. You drive your car, you come pick me up. But as you get older and start families of your own. You have, you know, your woman's side of the family and her cousins and her brothers, and she has her man's side of the family and her cousin and her brothers, and those become people that's outsiders, but they're not really outsiders, they're still insiders. But it's just now I don't have that time to come ride with you and hang out on the block like we used to do because I gotta take care of this, you know. It's just a misunderstanding on that type of thing that happens. It's just life, you know. People grow. You can't be doing the same thing you did in '88 and '98. You know what I'm saying? Things change.
Shit has changed. I mean, not just in the Bay, but in the game in general. I know you've gone through a few transitions as far as record labels. Can you talk about maybe Jive and then also the Universal situation? How did that come about? And be legit as kind of not necessarily a right-hand man of E-40, but always there with E-40, making your own moves.
Everybody knows the Sick Wid It Records. You know, that was me and 40 label. We founded that label. When we got with Jive Records, we got an unorthodox deal, which was a label deal / signing as an artist deal. Now, the Click was signed to Jive as artists. 40 was signed to Jive as an artist. Everything else was a P&D deal. My deal with Jive was basically pressing and distribution deal with a little bit of bells and whistles. Not the whole nine. They didn't have me as an artist, which meant that I was getting a bigger dollar amount for each unit that was sold, which is the thing to do. You know, once you experience the independent money, you don't want to go back and give all that up, you know, just to be famous. It's like, do you want to be famous or you want to get breaded? So I wanted to get breaded. So in that instant, I had a distribution deal, kind of like with Jive, and we did an album. You know, the album did fairly well. We had Daryl Hall on the album, and, you know, they got a place in the movie, and it was a good look, you know what I'm saying? It was like my breakout album, and it did well. In the midst of that, Jive was getting into the pop. The Backstreet Boys, BRITNEY SPEARS, you had NSYNC. Okay, so when I finished my album, when I turned in my new album, Pimpin' Ain't Easy, in '98, everything was kind of like on the back burner due to the fact that the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC had a conflict of interest because they were two boy bands. By them having a conflict of interest, the lawyers was tied up, everything was kind of put on hold, and we was kind of like put on the back burner. But being that I only had a press and distribution deal, wasn't an artist, I was able to move. I wasn't tied in. Actually, a lady from Jive Records, Laurel Dan, said, hey, I know this guy out on Grambling who's starting this new label over at KOCH, and he'd be happy to have you. And I said, okay, well, let's, you know, let my attorney talk to your attorneys, put some numbers together, see how it go. And it worked out. They bought me out from my deal, the record that Jive had recorded, and put it out on KOCH.
How did they see you as an artist? I mean, how did they want to market you? Because that's a big part of the game.
Well, the thing is, what it was a lot of record companies didn't know how to market hip-hop, number one. For number two, especially Bay Area hip-hop. What made us more feasible for these people is that we had that on lock. We had the streets and the marketing thing on lock as a Sick Wid It Records label. If you got a car that's already running, all you want to do is put some muscle behind it to make it go faster. So that's what they was looking at us. As we had solid fan bases. I would sell 150,000 records with no promotion.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that was unheard of. They was like, okay, well, this is a safe bet because we'll know we'll get our money back because he has a fan base. And, you know, he come out selling 100,000 records, selling 100,000 records on an independent at $10 a record. That's $1 million. So we can afford to play with this a little bit.
For sure. Drop an X down your neck, nigga, watch the palms. Mom is sweaty, big dick getting ready. Game so heavy, can't wait to spill it. Airhead bitch, take her head and fill it. What's up with my baby? The lady of Atlanta got champions, bitch. If you wanna get down, Evander.